took me about 10 years to learn that if I didn't want to continually chase clients, if I didn't want to continually feel the burn of business, if I didn't continually want to think about giving up because the amount in the bank account did not equal the work I was doing, I had to change. I had to accept that not being planned out, not being strategic, not being focused was not going to serve me. And when I figured that out and I wasn't allowing my personality to be an excuse as to why I wasn't doing some very hard things in my business, I would still be in that same place. It's not always the most awesome and inspiring and shoot from the hip and most amazing thing that you've ever participated in. In fact, it really comes down to, for me anyway, it comes down to a self-control situation. I have found both in health, wealth, and relationships, it really boils down to self-control. I can make myself do things.
Welcome to the Millionaire Maker Show, a podcast helping entrepreneurs scale their businesses online to create more time, more money, more freedom, and more impact. Now, with over 20 years of business building, coaching, and consulting experience, here's your host, author, speaker, and creator of the Millionaire Maker Funnel, Lindsay Anderson.
Hey there, everybody. Welcome to the Millionaire Maker Show. I am your host, Lindsay Anderson, and I'm really excited for today's episode. We're talking about getting prepared for what I like to call the September sales surge. Regardless of what you're selling online, if you're a service-based business, after the lull that can be the summer slowdown, you can go all out in September and really make or break your entire year based on what happens in September. September is a sizzling hot time to sell services. The kids are back in school. People are off of vacation. People now have so many weeks to focus on the important things that they've been wanting to focus on, and they're ready to invest in themselves, in services, and really ready to take that next action. Not only that, it's been slow over the summer, and people are ready to get back into a routine and really take the bull by the horns. Now, this is tricky for online business owners, and I'll tell you why. Because first of all, it's the summer slowdown. I totally get it. It happens to everyone. You see your competitors, you see your customers, they whisper away. You're not really sure where everybody goes or where everyone's focus is, and your focus is also halfway at the beach. Why am I working when everybody else is taking it off? I absolutely understand it, but here's what you need to know about the September sales surge is that if you wait until September to get your audience warmed up, to get your conversion vent in order, to really brush up on your sales skills and be ready to talk to your clients and have this process in order, if you wait till September, it's much, much too late because you have some testing to do, you have some things to do, you got to get your audience warmed up. And by the time September rolls around, that's when people are buying, not when people are thinking about buying. So if you want to take advantage of the September sales surge, it is critical that you look at your calendar over the next 6 weeks and take some very critical steps in order to prepare yourself to take full advantage of September. Now, your competitors might be lackadaisical and not be competing online. This is a benefit for you. Your customers might be in and out, but you're still there, a dependable presence online, so that the times that they are checking in and the times they do see you on social media, it's you that they see. And I see this with business owners all the time. My VIP clients, where we get into their business and we give them all of our systems so that they can scale past $1 million. Or for those individuals in my Content That Converts program, those individuals that are trying to get their foothold online, trying to get the sales and marketing strategy worked out so that their business works with ease. And this is the real difference here, is that it's long-term thinking. If you want to get your business out of the chaos and always hunting for customers and always praying that big account will come through and I don't know what I'm going to wake up to tomorrow or how am I going to pay my bills 2 months from now, I get it. And you will be in struggle and chaos mode until you really start long-term thinking. It's essential. And I see it all the time with the businesses that I consult with. Those individuals that don't plan out, don't plan their years out, don't plan out past where they are right now, are throwing spaghetti at the wall, and they don't really have a plan. Those businesses, they are in constant turmoil. They are always searching for customers. The team is at the whim of whatever the visionary's leader day-to-day mood is, and everyone's in constant chaos, and you end up getting lackluster results. Results are what you put into it. If you don't put in a lot of planning and a lot of effort and a lot of strategy, the outcomes will be exactly the same. Now, when people come to me and they work with me either in Content That Converts or any of my programs, we really have to work on a mindset of thinking long term. The businesses that succeed, the ones that are not in constant chaos, the ones that have dependable clients coming in, the ones that have a dependable revenue stream, those businesses, they have a plan. They have a strategy. They understand what they're doing for the rest of the year. They understand that much like working out, what I do today will be the body and the health I have 2 or 3 months from now. And so really adopting long-term thinking for your business is critical. And it starts with planning. It starts with planning out the rest of your year. It starts with taking this summer and really planning out how you're going to make the most use out of the fall, what you need to get done in order to hit the fall running and already have that momentum, and how to have the most success in the fall. And so on today's episode, it is a very special episode because I'll be sharing with you 3 essential things that you need to know in order to take the most advantage of the September sales surge. Now, before I hop into that, I want to make sure that you're aware that I am hosting a live workshop series on exactly how to do everything I'm talking about in today's episode, how to implement my unlaunch method, how to get your hands really around all of the strategies that I share with you here on the Millionaire Maker Show. And in order to take advantage of that, all you need to do is head over to lindsayandderson.live. On that website, you will be able to see my next upcoming live free event that you can attend to really start getting your hands around all of the strategies that I discuss here on the Millionaire Maker Show. So head over to lindsayandderson.live. So let's hop into today's episode. You know that I say this a lot as avid listeners of the show, is you're up against 2 things when it comes to scaling your online business and finding more clients for your online business. And that is, first of all, AI. AI came and changed the game. They're making it easier for your competitors to get good content out there, to look more professional, to understand the pain points of their customers, to communicate more effectively. It really is a formidable foe when it comes to empowering your competitors to compete against you in ways we've never seen before. With that comes a lack of trust from your prospects, wondering, are you a bot? Wondering, where did they get this? There's so many people out there. I'm not really sure who to trust. The next thing is competition. People are leaving their corporate jobs. They're professionals. They're experts. You guys all listen to this show. You're professional and experts who've left your corporate job. Maybe you're a leadership trainer. Maybe you're a doctor and you want to come online. Maybe you're a therapist of some sort and you have your own way of helping people. There's 100 experts that are no longer glued to the old way of thinking, and they understand if they come online, they can take the power back for themselves and build a real legacy business where they can help more people and make more time, more money, more freedom, and more impact. So you got the competition, you got the AI, and here you are trying to compete with all of that. And how do you get leads amidst all of this craziness that is happening online? And the answer is this. It is intimacy, okay? Intimacy will sell your services better than anything. So what does that mean? You got to be live more. You got to be sending DMs. You got to be focusing on relationships. Long gone are the days that people come along and they see your launch and maybe go to a webinar and buy a $5,000 product without ever talking to you. That just doesn't happen anymore if you don't already have a warm audience. And you have to understand that the game has changed. And that's exactly what we're talking about on today's episode. And I'll be giving you some hints about how to really wrap your arms around that and implement intimacy into your whole process on today's episode. But that's the key word, folks, for what we're talking about today. It's all about intimacy. Now, the major problem people are having this time of year in the summer, during the summer slowdown, is of course there's decreased sales and revenue. You look at your bank account and you're like, yikes, it's mid-July. That bank account does not have enough money in it. And this can be a real problem mentally as well as for the business health as a whole. It really highlights the fact that there is so much pressure riding on September and quarter four. But here is what you need to know about quarter four in September. You can basically sell September, October, and just a little bit of November. Once you start hitting mid-November all the way through December, then it slows down again. And so you need to build up this momentum to make the most use out of the September sales surge. And so how do we work around that right now in the summertime now that we have decreased sales and revenue? The number one thing that you need to be doing, and please write this down, is always continue making an offer. You have an audience that you have built, you have people on social media, people that you meet in networking events, people that you've met through other groups, people that you know, old customers, new customers, all the people in your audience, and they're out there in what I call the marketing washing machine. Maybe they listen to your podcast. Maybe they came to a networking event. Maybe you met them on LinkedIn. Doesn't really matter. They're in your marketing washing machine. They see things about you popping up all over the place. And it is essential, okay, that you have a conversion event and you're always making an offer. Because most people think, these people know what I do. If they need my help, they will certainly reach out. They know exactly what I do. And I'm here to say it's not the case. It's not true. And that's not how things work. And so even during the summer, especially during the summer, you always need to be having a conversion event. So what is that? That's some place, something you do to actually get those leads, understanding what your next step is. Now, some people do a launch, a 5-day, 10-day launch. Some people do live masterclasses. For me, what I like to do and what I teach and what you can hear on previous episodes here of the Millionaire Maker Show is I do an invite-only event. Okay, now usually this is paid information. I give this away in my coaching programs, but I'm going to lay it out for you today that the invitation-only event is the most strategic and potent way of doing this, of creating that call to action. And this is really what it looks like. So this is a weekly masterclass that you give on rinse and repeat. It is the same content. It is the same title. It is the same call to action. That's the beautiful part about it, because every time you do this thing, you're going to practice and get even better. Also, it's rinse and repeat. Long gone are the days where you're cramming to try to figure out what you're going to teach on your next masterclass. This is already laid out. And not only that, as you start gathering analytics and information about who's coming to your invite-only event and how many people are getting on sales calls, it can really inform you of how to iterate and make that better. And that's the real power from a strategy and a systems perspective about the invite-only event. Now, here's how it goes and why we call it invite only and how it really introduces that intimacy. So you have this masterclass that you give, and here is what you want to do. The intimacy of the masterclass begins in the invite. And so you start reaching out to all the people that you've met in your marketing washing machine, and you start inviting them and seeing if they can and want and have interest in attending your invite-only event, which you're going to name it something really amazing, and you're going to be naming this invite-only event something really powerful that they cannot resist. Unlike a launch or a public webinar where you're just out there on social media and anybody who sees it, it's not intimate. If you give that thing more than once, people aren't going to sign up for it because they'll be like, she gives this thing every week. Why do I need to sign up this week? And so the power of the invite-only event is through inviting, okay? You invite people from your marketing washing machine, you have a little back and forth conversation with them, and then you have highly qualified individuals coming to your invite only event, and you will increase your conversion rates because the highly qualified individuals equals highly qualified phone calls. So here's the best part about the invite only event is you really only want to invite 20 people because as I said at the top of the hour, this thing is all about intimacy. So you invite 20 people. If you do it the way that I teach it, you're going to get a 50% show up rate. 50% of those individuals will come, which will make it nice and intimate. Everybody's on Zoom. Who's there? Nobody gets lost. People really feel like they're a person and not just a number. They're not just another cog in the wheel, but you actually care about them, which will introduce intimacy. So you don't have a ton of technology. You're reaching out and extending these invites to everybody in your marketing washing machine. You only have a few people on the invite only event, which makes it an extremely connected experience. And the best part is there is no cheesy sales pitch. That you extend an offer at the end for those individuals who are highly qualified, ready to take action to get on your phone now. This makes it super easy to get people out of your marketing washing machine, understanding the problems that you can help them with, and on to a sales call. And you want to be hosting this invite only event all through the summer leading up to September so that by the time September comes, you have this invite only event so dialed in and you know what your stats are. You've given it multiple times. You know what kind of customers are coming to the event and you can really knock it out of the park. If you're looking for more sales this summer, I highly recommend hosting these invite only events and getting very serious about it. This is the long-term thinking. This is the strategy and the systems piece. I'm giving it to you right here. And that's going to help you get more sales this summer as well as build momentum as you go into September. This is key, okay? Sitting around trying to figure out what to post on social media, that's not going to make you money right now. What's going to make you money right now is showing up, being live, and extending an offer to the right audience. That's how you're going to start getting clients now. The second thing that you need to consider, okay, now that we're in the summer slowdown and we're prepping for the September sales surge, is right now in the summer, there's crickets, right? You post on social, very few people are responding. It feels like nothing is happening. It doesn't really feel like anyone is listening. And so what's the point? There's low engagement rate anyway. And that's just what's available to you in the summer, and you cannot let it get to you, okay? You have to remain unbothered. Slow and steady wins the race when it comes to building an online business. You have to focus on relationship building, reaching out to people, nurturing those personal connections, tracking your sales leads, checking in with people, because people are just not going to be flooding in, especially during the summer. And as you nurture this audience and as you start building your $1 million Rolodex full of high quality individuals, all of those individuals, if they do not buy from you this summer, the fact that you're warming up that audience now will only serve you going into September because you're depositing into those relationship bank accounts, you're checking in with your audience, and then when September comes, suddenly they've been in your sphere for 6 or more weeks, and it's much more easy to make that sale because they're suddenly not a cold audience, but they are a warm audience. So what does that mean? I have 2 methods here. There's 3 methods on how you're going to use social media to overcome the low engagement of the summer. So first of all, on social media, and you can go find another episode on the Millionaire Maker Show about this, you want to be posting your VEMs. You definitely want to be showing up on social media like a business owner and not an influencer. And the way that you do that is through posting VEMs. That is posting your vibe, your experience, your methodology, and your skills. If you're not posting those 4 things on social media, then people are viewing you as an influencer. You're not building that trust. You're not building that intimacy, and you're going to have a really hard time getting sales. Now, sure, you're posting on social media. There's my VEMs. Where's my customers, Lindsay? And that's where a lot of people really misstep when it comes to social media. They'll do what I call a content drop and run. And so they'll post content or have a VA post content, even if it's VEMS content, and they won't do anything else on social media. But the fact is, social media actually has 3 parts. Little did you know, okay? Certainly, part number one is posting content. The second is what I call virtual networking. And just like live networking, this is on your social media platforms, interacting with your audience. Who do you need to check in with? Who do you want to like their post? Who do you want to comment on? What other thought leaders are out there where you can make comments and those kind of things on their posts to be present in their community? And you're following up with these people who are currently in your network so that you're always top of mind for them. And so you want to be nurturing that network. Social media makes that pretty darn easy. As you scroll through, when you see stories, that's social media. Okay. There's certain stories that social media is serving up to you. Take their advice, because there's a reason why these people are highlighted, why social media wants you to be looking at that, because it knows either they're looking at you, or they have this problem, or they recently paused on some post about what you currently do. And so look at these signals coming in from social media, because these social media algorithms will help you virtually network. Who is it showing to you? Ask yourself why. Ask if they would be a benefit to your business, and evaluate what that algorithm is doing. And if you keep it organized on business and it's a quality situation for you, then you can really start using the social media platforms to virtual network. So what does that look like? It looks like scrolling through your social media, knowing who these people are, reaching out to Barbara, congratulating Donnie about his dog, congratulating Melanie about her recent podcast hit, and just being top of mind based on what social media is serving you. That's virtual networking, is touching base with your current network. Of course, sending DMs and checking in with people to nurture those relationships. The third part of social media, when done right and for sales, is what I call virtual black booking. And this is how you start adding more people to your social media accounts. Now, social media will help you with this once again. When you log into Facebook and it's, here's some people you should get to know. When you log into LinkedIn and it's, hey, here's a whole bunch of people in your network, 25 people that you have in common. Then this is the social media algorithms being like, I think that you want to get to know these people. There should never be a reason in your business to be like, I don't have anyone to connect with on social media. I don't have anyone to talk to. I don't have anyone to connect with, because the social media algorithms are feeding this to you the entire time. So here is a tip, okay? You go to LinkedIn, it has recommended connections. You reach out, you have a goal to reach out to 5 of those a day, and you hit connect. It lets you send a message and you say, Tom, looks like we are both from Portland and we both know the same 20 people. I thought it might be useful for us to connect. Send. And when you do something like that, people love that. You seem authentic, you seem natural. And if you have a system where you're doing this every day and adding people, okay, you're black booking, then you have way more people to virtually network with, and you can continue to get to know new people. And social media will help you do just that, because it's feeding you this information. Social media is a tool to help you connect with, interact with, and get to know new people. So start following the cues. Now, these things only work, of course, if you're only focused on social media being high quality, or quality followers only, quality people that you're friends with. You keep your personal and your business stuff a little separate. People kind of struggle with this on Facebook a little bit, because they're like, my personal Facebook account is where everybody I graduated high school with is, and I don't want to oversell to them, but I also really want to use Facebook as a lead generation tool. You have to make a choice. Either it's for communicating with high school friends, or it's a lead generation tool and your high school friends can follow along based on personal experience. Okay? The algorithms know well enough. I know for me, I use social media as a lead generation tool. So I'm not shy about posting business content out there. I cater towards the people who follow me on Facebook, that they're business owners, that they're customers, that they're good people that I like to connect with. And as far as like friends from high school, people who won't buy from me, people who know me from wherever, great, they can follow along. Algorithms are really actually good at knowing what your content is and who would be interested in seeing it. So the summary, okay? The summary is Decide what your social media platform you're using to generate leads, and that is what it's for. Curate a high quality feed and allow the social media platforms to serve you people to continue adding to your network. Okay, so that's content. And the beautiful part, going back to content, you're posting your VEMS content, then all these people in your virtual networking that maybe you DM'd about their dog, suddenly you're popping up in their feeds and they can start seeing your content. Okay, and you're black booking and you're adding friends, they start seeing your content. And these three things work together extremely well. The last problem that you're really going to have is you have a lack of time. You only have 6 weeks between now and really taking full advantage of the September sales surge. There's not a lot of time to throw spaghetti at the wall. You need a streamlined plan. Hustle is not going to get you so far on this, okay? You need a plan. Hustle is not going to solve this. You really need to plan ahead. And so here is what you need to know. Okay, here's what you need to know in order to prepare yourself for September. There's a list. So get your pen and paper out, and here is the list of everything that you need to write down and be crystal clear on before we hit September. Here we go. Number one, you have got to clarify your marketing message. It has to be problem aware. It has to be whatever is your prospect is saying they need and not what you are delivering. So you have to meet people where they're at. I had a great example today in my Content That Converts program. I have an individual. She's a highly skilled wellness coach. She has a program where she can help burnt out women in corporate create a self-care plan that includes yoga and fit it into their day. And she's had really amazing results. And when she shows up, she thinks she's selling how to do yoga in 15 minutes a day in order to feel better. And that's not what people are looking for. What people are looking for is how to not be burnt out, how to find more time in my day, how to find more ease in my day, how to be more at peace. And so she needs to meet those individuals where they are at and sell that and only that. And sure, the solution is a 15-minute yoga practice plus some coaching from her, and it's the perfect package to make sure that you avoid burnout as a busy corporate woman. Yes, but that busy corporate woman is not looking for a 15-minute yoga thing. She can go on YouTube and watch Adriene for 15 minutes every single day if that's what she wanted. So that's why you have to meet the customer where they're at and make sure that your marketing message is problem aware. How do you do that? You're posting content, you're looking at feedback from customers, you're seeing who shows up to your IO event, and if they're the right customer, kind of customer or not. So you have to clarify your marketing message. Know this, okay? Know this. I work with some of the most charismatic, influential, and inspiring coaches. These people are very inspiring. They're speakers and they teach, they coach and have public speaking events and so on some of the biggest stages in the world. And a lot of times they'll start doing marketing messages and be so used to people being pulled in by their charisma and their inspiring tones that they don't think words matter that much, but just their matter of being here and just like throwing out some motivational messages will get people to buy. And the fact is, it doesn't. When it comes to separating people from their wallets, words matter. People are listening to the words. We've literally had titles of invite-only events that we've swapped 3 words, and it's completely changed the kind of person who shows up in that room. Now, I've been in marketing for 20 years, and I am still shocked at how much a teeny tiny word matters. So you have to have a clear marketing message, or is what happens is people put their own context on whatever you're saying, and you end up not getting a high quality customer. The second thing that you have to have locked and loaded by the time September comes is your pricing and your program strategy. That is the length of your program, the components of your program, your pricing. Are you charging what you're worth but not overpricing? What does that look like? Most people that I talk to are not charging what they're worth or what the commanding rates are because you just don't know. So the mistake there is you don't charge enough You end up being time poor and money poor because you're overextending yourself. You can be real resentful in your business. And for a lot of people, this equals burnout. This is key, your pricing and program strategy. Find someone like me. Attend one of my live events by going to lindsayanderson.live. We can help you with this, okay? Pricing and program strategy. You can't really just guess. And another problem people have here is in the pricing and program is whoever you're hanging out with. That's what you think that your pricing and program is. So you have new people who are coming into the coaching space and they want to charge $5,000, but their whole family and their whole community that they're in has never heard of such a thing. What? You can't charge that. So they end up charging way less because they're not surrounded by people who know what the going rate is or what is normal. And so the people reflecting back to you make you think that you're not charging or that you're overcharging or that you'll never get it. And so you have to find somebody who has that level of experience like myself that can tell you what your pricing and your program strategy should be. Okay? So clarify your marketing message, your pricing and program strategy. The third thing you must have, okay, is going to be your conversion event strategy. How do we get people out of the marketing washing machine and into our programs? We already talked about the invite-only event, okay? What does that look like for you? You have to have a place where you offer that next step for people to exit the marketing washing machine and actually step onto the sales treadmill, okay? And then the fourth thing that you're going to need, that is an authentic sales call system. Once they're market and they come to your invite-only event and it's time to actually get on a call where you're one-on-one combat with your prospect, you can hear their problems, you can make a connection with them, and you can prescribe to them your program, whatever program they need at that time based on all the information you got from them. This is a skill, okay? Sales is a skill that you need to learn. Again, with the charismatic leaders that I tend to attract here, okay? Big speakers, people who are used to walking into a room and everyone being like, I'm your biggest fan. They really struggle making money on program sales. And you'd look at their Instagram and think they have no problem making sales. You'd watch them on stage. They have no problem making sales. All these people follow them. But the fact is, when they do not have sales skills, they really, really struggle. And I would argue that the speakers that I help and the people who are so used to just people being like, I think you are so amazing. I like you. They struggle with sales because they like to be liked. They want to be liked. They want you to like them. And that right there is an Achilles heel of losing sales. And so it is critical that you understand what an authentic sales call system is, that you can get on a phone call and seal the deal and feel good about it. Okay? And so those are what you need in order to scale a business, in order to not have the summer lull, in order to take full advantage of the September sales surge. You need to clarify your marketing message so that you're attracting high quality leads. You have got to be attracting high quality leads. You have your pricing and program strategy, what you're actually selling and how you're delivering it. Your conversion event, what gets people out of your marketing washing machine and actually taking that next step. And an authentic sales call system, what you actually do on the phone to close the deal, how you're nurturing those relationships and your sales pipeline so that you are thinking much more long term. So if you have those four things in place, your summer will not be as slow. You'll continue this amazing momentum that you've already had, and you can get ready and dive into the September sales surge and make the very most use out of it. So there you have it. That's how you're going to prepare yourself and your business to get through the lull, the summer slowdown, and get yourself prepared for the September sales surge is doing the things that I mentioned in this podcast. One more time here, okay? Long-term thinking. Now, I had a really interesting conversation today with somebody in my Content That Converts program. She is a creative. She likes to do new things. She doesn't like to be tied down. She's also an extremely skilled coach. She's telling me, Lindsay, the systems and the rinse and repeat, like it just doesn't inspire me. And I feel you. This is what I have to say about that, okay? I feel you. Systems and sales, okay, are not my natural That's not my natural state. If you would have talked to me about business a decade ago, I've been like, I just like to shoot from the hip, and it's part of my magic is to just step out and do whatever inspires me because I'm such an inspired person. But I quickly learned, well, probably not so quickly because I've been in business for 20 years, okay? Probably took me about 10 years to learn that if I didn't want to continually chase clients, if I didn't want to continually feel the burn of business, if I didn't continually want to think about giving up because the amount in the bank account did not equal the work I was doing, I had to change. I had to accept that not being planned out, not being strategic, not being focused was not going to serve me. And when I figured that out and I wasn't allowing my personality to be an excuse as to why I wasn't doing some very hard things in my business, like a rinse and repeat webinar, like getting crystal clear on my customer, like really understanding and focusing on sales skills, I'd still be in that same place. But unfortunately, I realized, like what it takes to run a business with ease is a system and a process that you can rely on. And it's not always the most awesome and inspiring and shoot from the hip and most amazing thing that you've ever participated in. In fact, it really comes down to, for me anyway, and all of the people that I coach and consult with, it comes down to a self-control situation. And I know that can be harder for some people than not, but I have found both in health, wealth, and relationships, it really boils down to self-control. I can make myself do things. And when you have a strategy and a system and you work with somebody like me and you can have faith in that system, it makes it a lot easier to do that day to day because you know what the tasks are. It's like working out with a personal trainer. You know what the tasks are and you know what's going to pay off down the road. That makes it a lot easier. But the fact is, if you want to scale a business and you don't want to continually be chasing customers and you want this to be some sort of legacy where you're not just like working another job, but you actually own a company and a real asset, I would recommend looking at what you're saying. That's just me. That's just me. That's just how I am. And seeing if you're making an excuse there. I don't know if that applies to you. It applies to a lot of people that I work with, but you might want to look at that and start adopting. You get to choose who you want to be every single day, okay? You get to choose if you're an organized person or a disorganized person. You get to choose if you're afraid of sales calls or not afraid of sales calls. You get to choose if you're meek and mild and that's not really how I like to handle sales calls because that's just not my personality. Or no, I learned some sales skills and I know how to have a high quality conversation with somebody, understand their problems, and if appropriate, prescribe them a program that is music to their ears. That's a skill. That's not a personality trait. End scene on that one. Okay. What else do I want to say here? So there you have it. There is the Millionaire Maker Show for today. Thank you so much for joining me for preparing for the September sales surge. Don't forget, especially as we're going through the lull of the summer, I can help you, okay? I can help you with the summer slowdown. I can help you with the September sales surge. All you need to do is head over to lindsayandderson.live and get registered for this free workshop series, lindsayandderson.live. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the podcast. Please leave us a review out there on your favorite streaming service. It really does help get the word out about this podcast. What I try to bring you on this podcast is the real truth about what it takes to build a business, okay? I try not to pull my punches. I try to tell you like it is. I've been doing this for 20 years. I've worked with hundreds of people. There's patterns. And I understand the patterns, and I'm here to report them to you so that you can break the patterns. You have the power to break the pattern, okay? So thank you very much for joining me today. Please leave us a review, and I'll see you next time on The Millionaire Maker Show.
Welcome to the Millionaire Maker Show, a podcast helping entrepreneurs scale their businesses online to create more time, more money, more freedom, and more impact. Now, with over 20 years of business building, coaching, and consulting experience, here's your host, author, speaker, and creator of the Millionaire Maker Funnel, Lindsay Anderson.